They have quite a bit of draft capital to work with. So we were really busy in free agency. Now we're going to turn our attention to the draft. All right. And we're not going to really preface this. We're not really going to preface this. I'll just get our ticker going so that folks can see what we did in free agency leading up to this draft, give them a little bit more context. And let's get the draft underway. Miles Murphy's that new guy at number 1, man.
I guess so.
They know something.
He's that new guy.
They go to
Look at the
Colts.
Look at the
Come on, that's
First
embarrassing.
of all,
You ain't
first of
taking-
all,
you ain't
we're
doing
not
that.
doing this. Secondly, this is a very placid offer. This is because
Terrible.
they want quarterback too, obviously.
Right.
They want quarterback too.
Come on, man.
They-
Don't
they-
insult our intelligence.
Yeah, they should have traded the first overall here. All right. So you have your pick of the litter. Here.
So obviously, here at Couch Potato General Manager, it's all about Bryce Young. I know people are, every time I turn on Twitter, somebody's talking about Bryce Young's size, and I don't care. I don't care about his size because he does from everything that you want done technically from the quarterback position. He's a technically sound football quarterback, not football, but that American football quarterback. Can put the ball where he wants it. I mean, I guess the only limitation is his size, and it hasn't hindered him. Matter of fact, when you talk about the quarterback position, I always talk about, can he raise the level of play with the players around him? And this year, it was him and Gibbs, and that was it.
Yeah.
And how many games did they win? And they weren't losing games because of the quarterback position, right? It was partially part of the defense and partially because he needed more weapons. People weren't getting open. You know what I'm saying? So he did what he could with what he had. And don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this offense for y'all. Don't worry about it. It's Bryce Young all day, man. I know C.J. Stroud did his thing, but it's Bryce Young for me.
Yeah, Bryce Young for me too. QB1. He's been that way. He's going to stay that way. I don't care what he weighs at the combine. That's going to be the big discussion when he comes in at 5'9", 180 or whatever he's going to be. But, it's just the pre and post snap awareness, the composure, and he has the it factor. Not every quarterback in this league has that it factor, and Bryce Young continuously does it time after time with that it factor, and his talent went down a lot. You lost Jameson Williams, you lost some guys in the first round of the draft, John Mechie in the second. So let's get Bryce Young. Let's pair him back up with John Mechie. Got Nico Collins over there, and we're probably gonna get you a
Brandon
receiver
Cooks
later on, man. And what I liked what we did in free agency, we shortened up the offensive line, so now we can just get our weapons on the perimeter.
Get that tight end.
Yeah. And that was the purpose of generating some more cap space, even though they're close to $40 million already, was to put yourself in a position to really outfit this roster with players to support your young quarterback, to give you that flexibility, right? And I'm a big proponent of, don't get me wrong, there's some really talented offensive tackles in this class, some good interior offensive linemen. But I tend to skew towards veteran offensive linemen, right? Having that NFL tape on offensive linemen really helps you mitigate risk. You know what I mean? There are guys that play at the college level who are just bigger. They're just better from a physical standpoint. They don't necessarily have great technique, and that gets them in trouble at the next level. So I'm always in favor of, assuming the price is right, I'm always in favor of going with the veteran route from an offensive line perspective. So as you mentioned, Headley, that gave us some flexibility. Speaking of Bryce Young, we had a comment on another video, and the individual indicated that they think Bryce Young is going to be hurt a lot. Concerns over the size. You know what I'm saying? The size is a legitimate concern. Don't get me wrong. He likened him to Tua, though, and I disagree with that from the perspective of him being an injury risk. The thing about Tua, and Tua is actually working on this. He's actually this offseason going out of his way to work on this. Tua doesn't know how to break his fall. Right. And Tua does not have the same level of composure in the pocket, feel, movement ability in the pocket as a Bryce Young. Those they are not the same prospects. When Tua's in rhythm, he's really impressive, but Bryce Young is just a better player across the board as far as I'm concerned. So
I think you highlighted with feel. I think that's really important. The feel, the elusiveness, not to see it backside, but spin out of it. It's like Patrick Mahomes almost. When you look at Bryce Young,
it's not as flashy. It's more.
No. It's more like Joe Burrow. It's more like Joe Burrow in terms of
like
the pocket manipulation, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Mahomes is making you pay on the edges, and he does a better job of climbing the pocket. That was one of the areas that he struggled with earlier. He does a better job from that perspective. But I think it's a little bit more subtle with Bryce Young, and that kind of remind me a little bit of the composure and the presence that Joe Burrow played with. So Bryce Young is the pick. We won't belabor the subject any further. But before I make that pick, Jake asked about keeping Cooks. I think from a contract perspective, you kind of pigeonholed. I mean, you got to you have to find somebody willing to actually trade for him, because I'm not eating that cap number. It's too large. It's too large. It's going to result in too much dead money as far as I'm concerned. So
he's still a good player.
Yeah. I think he could still contribute. I think with a more competent offensive line and quarterback play, he might actually get out of his feelings a little bit.
Especially a new head coach also.
Yeah. So Bryce Young, and we're back on the clock at 12. Gonzalez went 3rd overall, followed by Stroud, Carter, Will Anderson. Spoon is the first or second corner off the board. Gibbs, 10th overall pick. Wow. Tennessee said, "Man, listen, man, we're too pedestrian offensively. When Traylon Burks a season ago, they followed it up with Johnston from TCU. What do we do at 12, gents?
Playmakers for Tennessee.
Skoronski and Paris Johnson. That would make Titus Howard completely irrelevant.
Nah, come on, man.
Can't do it.
Nah, I can't do it, man. We still got positions there.
Don't say can't. Don't say can't.
We're not doing it.
Okay. All right. You making a decision. You making the decision. All right.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, hit me down in the comment section. What do we? Jordan Addison. Hold on. Let me pause because there's some talent on the board there. You got Jordan Addison. Is that receiver 1 for you, Headley, still?
Yeah, still. I think Smith and Jiba and him are neck to neck right now. They're graded out. They had the same grade when I graded them out. But
you lean in one. One's a bigger player, and the other's a little smaller, but a little bit smoother, slicker. I don't know what you want to call it.
And we know Addison can win on the outside.
That's true.
That's true. Some questions on Smith on the outside. He's more
that is true.
Slot.
I saw Smith and Jigba responding to Steve Smith's kind of evaluation of it, and Steve Smith obviously had a glowing review of him. He just questioned whether or not he could play on the outside. And JSN said, that's one of my favorite receivers of all time, but I got to show him, man. Don't matter where
I
look.
Everybody.
You got to show everybody. You got to show everybody.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be this year, but he got hurt. But I think he could do it, man. And
I think he can.
He's underrated twitch and speed after the catch, man. And that's something when I rewatched the tape, I had to move my board.
Who do you think's better after the catch? Addison or Smith and Jigba?
I think Smith and Jigba.
Okay, I think better after the catch. I think the size.
It sounds like you're making an argument for JSN.
No, it's Addison though, bro.
That's what you sound like to me.
Addison can play outside. It's a guarantee Addison can play outside. We think he can play outside versus Addison who can play outside. We're going with the sure thing.
So that's the only determining factor for you.
Bruh,
what else? What else is there?
Mechie's on the roster. Mechie's gonna be healthy. Mechie's not playing on the outside.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Jordan
Addison it is.
Come on, man. What you doing? Come on.
I gotta create conflict, bro.
Controversy. Gotta do it.
Jake, the Packers got JSN. I know Jake loving it.
There you go.
Although it's not the Packers' MO drafting receivers in the first round, this, that, and the other.
They gotta change that.
They really should.
They'll come back with Chris Smith in the second, and then Jake will give him the hat tip. There he is. There it is, bro.
Wow.
There it is. You already know, bro. Yeah, that's it. There's no discussion. We'll go to the tight ends real quick. I just want to go through them real quick.
This is it right here, bro.
So hold on. So I had a conversation.
Okay.
Off air, we was talking about. I say, hey, man, would you go Darnell Washington at 12? And then boys was like, nah, man, come on, you doing too much. Drew said, hey, man, it's pick 33 for tight end, and I would go for this particular team, right? We can talk about rankings and grades and all that other stuff. When we talk about this particular team, I would go Darnell Washington, and here's why. Because the dude is the best blocking tight end since I don't know when. And you see oozing since ever. And you see the oozing potential when you talk about him in the pass game. I love me some Dalton Kincaid, but Darnell Washington, bro, he's going to help that offensive line, man. I think you need to go watch him do some blocking, because blocking ain't the funnest thing to watch, but he makes it very fun and makes you just don't even want him to run out and run any routes. But I just want to watch him block people. He's nasty. He's disrespectful.
Helly, I'm gonna let you break this tie because it's Kincaid for me. It's Kincaid for me, man.
Drew talked him up, bro. I'm siding like Drew's side right now because what he does in the run game, it's ridiculous, man. And you see the talent in the pass game when he goes out on routes. I know Bowers is the guy over there, but when he is running routes and catching the football, he's explosive after the catch. He goes up, he gets the ball at the highest point. You're not going to jar the ball away from him because he's just that big and physical. And what he can do in the run game. I know Kincaid is the best pass catching tight end in this class, in my opinion. What he does, he's another receiver. So you add a Addison with a Nico, a Mechie, Brandon Cooks. You got a Kincaid in there, and Bryce Young could just
spread it out.
Spread it out. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
So
I'm just saying. But two is greater than one. Yeah. Two is greater than one. So, I guess we're going Darnell Washington, man.
Yeah.
The upside is very intriguing. It is very, very intriguing, and certainly what he does in line, it exceeds that of Mercedes Lewis, right? Mercedes Lewis obviously been in the league for ages, but that is the reason why he was a second round selection, because of what he did in line, and he doesn't offer what Darnell Washington does as far as the passing game. Darnell Washington is a better athlete, so Darnell Washington is a pick, man.
Yeah,
I can't believe I'm pushing the button. I can't believe I'm doing it, but that's my guy, man. But I certainly understand the intrigue associated with Darnell Washington.
With Washington on the team, I think Paris locked him for 1,200 yards. Fantasy alert. Get Paris on your fantasy team with Darnell Washington in Houston.
I think Luke Musgrave is probably going to be run the fastest out of the tight ends.
Yeah.
From a straight line perspective. Yeah.
4.4.
Yeah, Musgrave actually went before Kincaid in this mock.
Did he?
Kincaid sliding.
Yeah, he slid a little bit. So Musgrave went and then Kincaid after that. Some good edges came off the board here.
Yeah.
Keon White just came off the board.
Oh, Keon White's there.
Oh, he's still there. Good fit.
Thule.
You got Thule.
See, boy said we got
the offense right. We have all offense. Somebody in the comments gonna be like, "Yo, what are y'all doing for our defense, man? Y'all went offense 3 straight picks. Our defense was one of the worst defense in the league.
It was ugly.
We helped them out in free agency. We got Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker. We got Poona Ford, the D tackle. So we took care of the defense there, but
more work to be done. And we have quite a few picks remaining. So what are we doing here at 65? I think the Texans could stand to get aggressive. In the second round with that edge run, you got guys like BJ Ojulari out there, Will McDonald.
Should have moved up and scooped somebody.
I think the Texans have the requisite draft capital in order to get aggressive and get one of those guys. If you pinpoint one of those guys as a guy that you covet, ultimately. So
right.
You want to see the safeties, Drew?
Yeah. Sidney Brown. I like 60 Brown for them boys. Might be able to come back and get Sidney Brown. I ain't mad at that.
Got Jamie.
You got Jamie out there. And then what's the edge look like?
If they want to short that run defense, J.L. Skinner is one of them guys.
He is one of those guys.
Jake, I'm okay with it. I know there's a lot of work to be done on the defensive side of the ball in Houston, but like I said, we want to put our young quarterback with a defensive-minded coach in a position to be successful. In the regular season, you're going to have to outscore some opponents. You're not always going to be able to just completely stifle them defensively. So I think it's a good start. They were entirely too anemic offensively. So I'm with you. I would have gone Kincaid. That's just me. But I certainly understand the Darnell Washington pick.
And listen, I don't know if it's the chicken before the egg. I don't know if I'm using that right. But in terms of how bad the offense was affected the defense, or how bad the defense was affected the offense. If it's me, it's me. I'm going to say the offense affected the defense because they were on the field so much. So
I'm not mad at that.
So I think we got to fix the offense before we can fix the defense. That way they're not affected. So I think we did that with the first 3 picks. So defensively, I like Thule over Keon White. I don't know if you have watched our previous videos, but I'm not a fan of Keon White. I understand that's DJ's guy, and people are pushing him up, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's just something's missing. I know he's got the physical traits that everybody loves, but should I say it? I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I like Thule here in terms of the D line. I think he can play anywhere on the D line. I like him specifically, probably on the interior more than anywhere else. He's quick, fast. He has a plan, good hands, and he knows how to get narrow. Knows how to stay not seen, not touched. He just knows how to keep the offensive line's hands off of him. And he works back to the quarterback. He can stop the run as well. He does the same thing in the run game. But I think he's a terrific pass rusher.
So as I mentioned before, the projected starting down line, not including Poona Foran, who we added in free agency, they're all in the final year of their respective contracts. So we're expecting considerable amount of roster turnover here. So I certainly am comfortable with Thule. Headley, what's your thought process?
Yeah, man. Rocker and Drew was talking. I'm pulling up my notes on Thule because I remember the tape being impressive. His tape was more impressive than Keon White's. I know Keon White is the traits guy, the size, the athleticism, but Thule has the versatility to rush from edge. He's slippery, elusive in run defense. He just racks up tackles, nice burst from the snap. He just battles every play. He's going to give it to you, that motor, all the time. And I think a big thing with him also, he could even do off-ball linebacker, man. Yep. I think he's that versatile to do that also. So, yeah, I like Thule over Keon White as well because of the versatility he gives you along that Texas defense.
All right. Tuli Tuipulotu. Again, a lot of people probably aren't necessarily familiar with him, having played on the West Coast, but excellent football player. One of the better defenders in college football. We're back on the clock.
He was the best defender on that USC defense. I think they lost a linebacker who was a baller too, if I'm not mistaken. And then Thule it was the Thule show after that for the most part. So.
All right, so we have Zach Harrison, Adetomowa Adebaware. He's a favorite of ours. He is a 3 technique. They list him as an edge, but Thule is actually more of an edge than Adebaware. Let's see. I think we should probably consider a little bit later adding somebody to Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, they lost 2 running backs in free agency, so yeah.
I am not opposed to continuing to add weapons, and I want Bryce Young to just be able to spread it out and just deal, just deal like a car dealer. Let's see, Julius Brents, Eli Ricks.
Oof.
Got some safeties out here.
All right, man. Let's get us a safety. We got to do the right thing here. I think it's a safety time. So you have Chris Smith II, who just seems to be around the ball. He can play up in the box. He can play it deep. He just seems to find the football, man. He's magical that way. There's something to be said about that type of player. Then you got Sidney Brown, who, in my notes, I put him as a crash dummy at the Senior Bowl. Just want to see him come up with a little bit more control, a little bit more sense about himself and be able to make the tackle. He was all over the place, whether it be in one-on-ones in coverage, whether it be in team, whether it be 7. It didn't matter.
Sidney Brown is really impressive.
When you go to the Senior Bowl, I'm trying to see if you can fix the wrongs, the cons that I have about you. And he fixed everything. He was.
Yeah, you mentioned crash dummy. He was completely in control.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
He checked the box for me, and then he showed me something in terms of the one-on-one coverage. So, it's. I know people love Chris Smith, but I don't know. I'm kind of pushing Sidney Brown right now, just because I guess it's recency bias for me. Plus, I'm a Gator fan, so I'm hating a little bit.
Set your bias aside. I think my thought process is I don't think there are huge gaps between Chris Smith, Sidney Brown, and even a guy Jamie Robinson. You know what I'm saying? I think there is a tier break. Don't get me wrong, but I think I would be comfortable perhaps waiting on that safety to 104.
Yeah, just because there's enough there.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of safeties on the board.
If we perhaps prioritize Adebaware, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah. I'm with the Adebaware pick. Add more defensive line. He can stop the run also, get after the passer. I just think because of the safety, what Drews is saying. And I don't even think it's a tear gap. I have Jamie Robinson and Jair Brown from Penn State with Chris Smith and Sidney Brown. I have them. I think day 2 of the draft is going to be an excellent day to get your safeties. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. I mean, obviously the Texans got a phenomenal safety day 2, and Jalen Petrie, a guy that we loved coming out of Baylor. Again, another Senior Bowl alum, right? We had opportunity to see him live, and he was just as impressive as his tape. So let's go Adebaware here. Let's continue to tool up this down line. Of course, with D'Amico Ryans, we're going to expect a lot of 4-man rush, right? Yep. Those guys are going to have to get home. And with Thule and Adebaware, I think you really give your D-line some added teeth as far as pass rush is concerned. And they can stop the run on the way to the quarterback.
Yep.
Overshown.
Two solid D-linemen
in the third.
Sam Patterson.
Deuce Vaughn in the third. Running backs.
We need one.
Perry,
they got Joseph Smith. Run on safety.
Yeah. The run on safeties to start.
Skinner.
Calm down.
Sidney Brown going to get him.
We still got some. We still got
Relax.
some.
And we got Jamie Robinson. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Relax your spirit.
Okay.
Do you wanna trade up?
I don't.
We're about 10 picks away, and there are 3 safeties that we would probably consider.
Yeah, all right. Let it ride. Scared.
It was a run though.
Abandoned Kansas City. Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. That's not fair, bro.
That's a problem.
Washington.
Big run on the running back position. Big run on the running back position here in the 3rd round, man. And those guys that were usually considered a little bit lower than they get pushed up, and I think that probably makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, we still got Tank Bigsby on there. Tank Bigsby is good.
No. Don't get me wrong. It's just the depth is crazy, but all those guys that got picked, Vaughn, Abanikanda, I think there were a couple of Ty J. Spears. They were all ranked after Evans.
Yeah, they were.
So,
they were. Yep.
So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, definitely some volatility there. I think it's going to be a pick your flavor type of deal as far as the running back is concerned.
Yeah.
All right, we got all our safeties available to us.
I like Sidney Brown.
I do too.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Smart football player. He's going to be exactly where you want him. Show some coverability at the combine. I mean, at the Senior Bowl. So we need a smart safety back there. Next to
and his size, while he doesn't have great size, it doesn't seem to make a difference.
No,
he's not impacted. It doesn't make him any less effective because of his positioning, because of his headsiness, his smarts, and understanding where he needs to be, the leverage he needs to play with. So even matched up against some of those bigger tight ends and stuff, I thought he fared very well throughout the Senior Bowl practices. And when you revisit the tape, you could see the adjustments. There was just a few adjustments that needed to be made. The skill is clearly in place. So Sidney Brown,
and that's 104. Chase Brown's brother, running back from Illinois, if you didn't know.
Twin brother.
Excuse me. My bad. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Kendrick.
About 20 picks away.
Eli.
Some of those receivers got pushed down the board.
Naku out of there. Jacorian Bennett. Ryan Haynes. Tank Bigsby out of there. Ugh.
That's your boy, Nick Hampton.
Tyler Steen. Marvin Mims.
Are we looking like a bigger receiver for the Texans if you wanted to add another receiver?
You think Nico's too? He's 6'4", 215.
Nico's big, but I think that's the only one.
Only one.
Has size.
I think you might be right.
Addison, Cooks, and Mechie is the other 3.
Oakland wants something.
I like that right there with Oakland. What was who was before Oakland? Somebody else offered. I think it was the next year's pick though. I think we dropped like 2 spots or something. Oh no, it was no. We good. I don't want no 7th round. Give me them 2 5th rounds. Get up out of here, bro. Drop 3 spots. Give me that.
They went and got their safety. That worked out beautifully. Beautifully. All right. So here are your players at the top of the board: Dontavian Wicks, Nick Herbig, Mekhi Garner. We haven't talked about Garner at all. I think there's some work to be done, but there's some physical tools that I get excited about as far as being on the boundary there.
He was out there the Shrine game. It was him and Zay Flowers going at it, wasn't it?
Garner is a very intriguing prospect, and depending on how he performs at the combine, if he tests well athletically, I think that's a name that we will probably see rise. What's the thought process here?
So I know
Headley.
I know Headley wants to go receiver, but I'm looking at Nick Herbig. Just throw him out on the edge and let him play, bro. Be a part of the rotation. That's where I'm at with it.
Put his hand in the ground and
I don't
get after it.
I don't want to play linebacker. No, just rush the passer.
Boy, KJ Henry out here, Headley.
Yeah. They really hate on that guy, bro. What's some boys don't like him, man?
Carl Brooks out there too.
Carl Brooks.
Oh, we kind of got out there.
The interior. Yeah.
We fixed that. Yeah, it's an interesting name though. He's another corner. Garner got the size. Hips a little tight.
Hips are a little tight. I want to pass rush from the edge. Yeah.
Yeah, because Thule's versatile. We can move him around.
Sounding a lot like Herbig. That's what it sounded like to me.
I like Michael Wilson. We all like different guys.
I
like Michael Wilson too. I like Michael Wilson.
He's gonna be there though, don't you think?
I
trade back up for him.
Well, listen.
Herbig won't be there.
Let's think about what the pivot is. Let's think about what the pivot is. So, assuming we go with Michael Wilson, Herbig comes off the board. Who are you looking at from an edge perspective?
KJ Henry. Yo, that's my guy. I know they don't like him, but I like him.
He don't give you the flash like Herbig does, though.
No, that's not what we're.
No.
We're just talking about where we would pivot to. So KJ Henry would be the pivot. If we take Herbig and Wilson comes off the board, who do you pivot to?
Probably Mingo.
Yeah.
Who's on the Mingo? Anybody else under there? Ronnie Bell. Nah, I think Mingo's the next guy. So yeah, Mingo will be the pivot. Bigger, good guy. And you like somebody. It's completely different, Juice. You were who you banging on the table for?
Was it running back?
No. I'm banging on the table
I thought you mentioned the player.
I mentioned Mekhi Garner.
Oh, Mekhi Garner.
I mentioned him, but we don't necessarily have to go that direction.
We can get
I just think he's a player that we haven't discussed very much, and I think day 3 he has some unique traits that I think particularly if he tests well from an athletic perspective, he's going to climb boards.
He is going to climb boards. I'd agree with that. If you don't know who Michael Wilson is, go check out interview video, some cut-ups of him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he was lights out. Lights out at the Senior Bowl.
You say best receiver at the Senior Bowl?
As far as start to finish for the week, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Start to finish. I mean, there were some good players. Don't get me wrong. Good players, guys that I think at least 2 guys that I think will be drafted before Michael Wilson. But who knows? Things may change. But as far as just start to finish, his performance, the consistency, and then not just the practices, but the game as well. Michael Wilson was clearly the best receiver that week.
Yeah. Since we got Jordan Addison, man, I will give it to Drew. Let's go get Herbig, the edge guy. And then see if Mingo or maybe Wilson falls to us with the next pick.
All right, and we can get aggressive. We can get aggressive.
Trade back up
if we would like to. We can get aggressive. Let's let it go to about 155 and see what it looks like after we get Herbig.
Some people had Herbig like in their top 5.
Oh, Michael Wilson's gone.
That quick.
Didn't even exhale, bro, and he was out of there.
Barely able to get 2 words out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a sweet spot for those players. We're already in the 5th round. Those guys are too talented. There's too much upside for them to be there that late to begin with. But I don't hate Herbig. I don't hate the selection. I think all those picks worked in that particular case.
Yeah, we created a Lego thing right now with Thule and Herbig. Those guys could be Legos all day. The Texans and D'Amico Ryans.
Get your matchup game on.
All right, so we do have Jonathan Mingo out here. If we would like to go receiver, Keitrell Clark. If we go corner, Harrington Valentine. I'm not terribly familiar with Alex Austin. I'm not. I've seen him, but I'm not terribly familiar. I still have some more work to do on him. Darrell Luter, Rajon Wright, excuse me.
Both of them was at Oregon. That was Beaver,
Ivan
right?
Pace.
Both Oregon State corners, I
Yeah.
think, played well this year for the most part.
Yeah. Ivan Pace Jr.
More Legos.
Show.
Yeah, he would be very intriguing in this defense.
Let's see.
Very, very
Yeah.
intriguing. So we have
Yeah.
Edmonds, and we got Christian Harris. Those are really the two guys that were kind of
And Christian Harris was terrible this
Yeah,
past
he
year.
graded bad.
rookie.
Do you give up
Got
on
work
him?
to do.
Is the question. I don't think you do.
No, you don't give up on him. But
You go, you want McClendon?
yeah, I think McClendon Curtis is intriguing as well because as we think about the offensive line, AJ Cann, this might be his last year. Kenyon Green, another rookie, your first round pick, really struggled, but of course you're not giving up on him. But he really struggled. So you have some question marks at guard. We did get our center. Suomolu came in, so Curtis could be in play, but I don't know that we would necessarily go with him with this particular pick. Maybe the next one. I think you're decent along the offensive line to this point. I think you're actually set at guard.
Want to go Mingo then?
And we're considering Herbig
we
our
said we wanted a
edge.
running back. We wanted a running back too, right?
Yeah. I got my eye on this guy right here.
Keaton Mitchell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a different
I think he
that's
pairs
a Thunder and
nicely
Lightning.
with Pierce.
Yeah, that's a Thunder and Lightning right there. I like that.
He pairs really nicely, but I don't think we necessarily have to pick him
do that
here
right now. Yeah.
So Charlie Jones, if you
how
want
many
a
picks we got left?
receiver, Mingo. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 picks. We have plenty of picks.
I like Charlie Jones in terms of his ability to create separation, but Mingo is Ellie was talking about earlier in terms of just a bigger, I'm gonna say bigger, but a physical receiver. They don't really have that element with the receivers that they have at the moment. So I'm not mad at the Mingo pick, but I do like Charlie Jones there there as well. They got the physical receiver in Darnell Washington.
Oh, there you go.
So
I like Ivan Pace Jr. here too. So there are 3 players that I'm kind of looking at. I'm looking at Ivan Pace Jr., Jonathan Mingo, and my guy Keaton Mitchell. I'm willing to wait to 188 for Mitchell. So it comes down to Mingo and Ivan Pace, and it sounds like we're leaning Mingo here.
I like Ivan Pace a lot too.
But let me ask you though. So what does my linebackers look like? Strong to weak to strong. What does that look like if we're going with Ivan Pace? That would be my question.
Well, Christian Harris got some competition.
Edmonds
is locked in as a Mike. Edmonds is locked in
right.
as a Mike, and now Christian Harris has some. I mean, if we're running our nickel look, we're running 2 linebacker look.
That's right.
If we go base 4-3, then Harris and Pace are on the field.
Yeah. And I think if we go nickel, I think Ivan Pace is on the field because of that cover ability.
Yeah.
Christian Harris got to come off. Yeah. I like Ivan Pace Jr.
And I didn't pick Christian Harris. I didn't draft him. Right? That's the thought process.
You didn't draft him. You're right about that. You didn't draft him. You didn't draft him. And again, for you viewers out there, you may be looking at Nick Herbig. We just picked the linebacker. He's actually playing the edge in our even man front. So hand in the ground defensive end for us. He might be in a motorcycle stance, but he's rushing the passer. That's what he's been brought in to do. Ivan Pace can certainly get after the passer himself as well, but he's the off the ball linebacker. So let's go Ivan Pace.
By the way, I'm not mad if we went D Winters there either, but there's something. What did I say about Ivan Pace, man? I said he's a Micah Parsons light. Just the way he plays is just different.
Twitchy. He's real twitchy.
And you could have him coming off the edge. Outstanding blitzer, timing blitzer, playing when coming off the edge as well. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with him from the linebacker position. There's Mingo right there. Mingo and what's the next pick after 188?
201.
Can you afford to miss out on the running back here, or are you saying trade?
I like Mitchell. I like Mitchell here. I like Mingo. I think Mingo probably should have already been picked at this juncture. I just think if we're thinking about it from the perspective of what's on the roster, and I understand that you're looking for a particular receiver type, but you have Brandon Cooks, Mechie, Nico Collins, and Jordan Addison already. Don't really have anything behind David Pierce right now.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. The running back is a more important need for the Texans. You got the Thunder and the Damian Parrish. You add them with Mitchell, the Lightning. I think that's a
Yeah.
good duo, good pair right
Yeah,
there.
I think when you decide to spread things out and you got Bryce Young back there, you add Keaton Mitchell to the mix and what he can do in space.
Right.
I think the Texans can beat you a lot of ways now. I think they can really beat you a lot of ways offensively. So Keaton Mitchell is the pick from ECU. All right, let's see how it plays out.
How many picks we got
Brandon
left?
Curtis, Payne
3.
Durham, KJ Henry, Mingo to the
There you go, Ming.
Bucks,
There it
Catrell
is.
Clark. We have 4 selections. Kansas City wants to give us a bunch more, but I think we're going to stay pat for now.
Stay pat. You know, we got to address also the cornerback position. I know we got Stingley we drafted last year. I think Steven Nelson's still on the roster.
He is.
Yeah, he's
Steven
still on there.
Nelson, but I think we could add even another corner for competition. You did bring at Tremont Smith also. Yeah, Luther and the Rayshon Wright right there. Offensive line. I'm not mad at offensive line either.
Tyler Lacey.
Oh, you know, I was watching some Jackson Kirkland late last night, and he kind of impressed me. He was at a tackle. He moved inside to guard, and I think he did it really well at Washington. Real strong at the point of attack. Has a nice burst out of the snap. So I like him inside at guard, man. I think he's moving up my interior offensive line rankings.
That's a good point.
And he was supposed to be like one of the best tackles coming out. I think 2 years ago. I think he ended up getting injured.
Yeah.
Is he a 6-year senior, if I'm not mistaken? Something
Yeah,
like that.
I think so.
He's been there for a minute. So
older guy.
Yeah.
It's just the guy they put him. His replacement was playing really well. So
Really
they
well.
were like, we're going to put
Kirkland
inside, and he looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good in there. I'm banging the table for Kirkland, man, because he has the versatility to also play tackle.
Okay.
Ty Coward
I like
doesn't
that.
pan out. He's on his last year, his contract.
Right.
Jackson Kirkland. I like the pick.
All right, Jackson Kirkland it is.
We done shirt these boys up, man.
All right. 3 more selections here.
Come on, corner's a must, so you can take one of those off for sure.
Luter, Wright. These are the 2 guys that you're more familiar with. You're not fans of Blackman.
Nope. I would go with Luter in this scenario in terms of the defense that they're going to play.
This particular scheme.
Yeah, I like Luter better.
Right, let's go with Luter.
Now
Valentine to Buffalo. Christian Rodriguez.
Give me size and speed. Size and speed.
You got Gerard Clark right there.
You don't care where it comes from, huh?
Nope. Just just
want some
size. Figure it out.
Clark got some size.
Clark do got some size.
Run defense. They were ranked last in run defense.
Some interesting linebackers still out here.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. I seen it, bro. Go ahead. Dennis Allen, bro.
Davis Allen. I
Yeah.
We go for conflict that run game.
So what you saying? You saying you want 12 personnel out here?
We listen. We're gonna be versatile, man.
22.
We're gonna be able to
do 22 also.
Listen, when we get in that red zone in them short yard situations, we can run it and we can pass it. You don't know what's coming, bro.
Don't know what's coming.
But just know that we can block.
Yeah, these are 2 really impressive inline blockers at the tight end position. Like, if they come away with both of them, man, it's like you said. Considering Pierce, Pierce might be pushing 1,400.
Yeah, bump him up.
Nasty out here. Yaya Diaby.
That's the Jade Silvera, D. Winters, Dorian Williams, Helms, Demas.
Yeah.
Let's examine this group a little bit here, man. I mean, we've touched on almost every position based on the Houston team needs calculator here. I think we've actually got the interior offensive line addressed as well with the Jackson Kirkland pick, but he does have the flexibility to kick out the tackle. Hallie, what are your initial thoughts of what we've done thus far?
I love it, man. I love it. Now we kind of talked about what Jacksonville did last couple of years, and I think Houston's on that track. They got the Bryce Young, which is their Trevor Lawrence. We added the Jordan Addison and Darnell Washington. We are offense heavy. And then we turned our attention to the defensive side of the ball, man. We wanted to fix that run defense with Thule, the Ade. They could get to the quarterback, but they could also guard the run. Sidney Brown, a smart player. Herbert, a smart player. I thought we had a lot of intelligence on the defensive side of the football. And then I think Jackson Kirkland, man, that's one of my guys. I think he has the versatility inside and outside. And, you know, we just we got ridiculous a little bit with the Davis Allen pick to add with Darnell Washington. We just added another pass blocking tight end that could also catch the football for Bryce Young.
Yeah, man, this is a match made in heaven when you talk about this draft, man. Again, they're in that weak division. When you talk about the Jaguars, the Titans, obviously the Texans and the Colts. So this is a division, as far as I'm concerned, up for grabs. You probably maybe still give Tennessee the nod, maybe Jacksonville, but it's not far off from any of the other teams. And obviously, the biggest concern for this team going in was the quarterback position. We've done that, and we've given them the weapons. And we've kind of mixed it in terms of this team being able to be multiple in terms of the offense, run it, pass it. We've kind of opened that thing up, opened that door for them, because usually, you know, teams can sway one way or the other. You know, some certain teams pass more, certain teams run more based on how they're built. How we've assembled this is we've kind of opened things completely up. And so it's kind of, you know, hey, pick your poison type of thing. And so, yeah, man, I love this draft. And you talked about smart players. I think we need to go ahead and get one more. You know where that's at? Stay right on. You on the page right there. Who's it? Merriweather, bro. He's from the school of sound football. Be where you're supposed to be. And he showed that in Mobile when they tried to run a trick play, and he was where he was supposed to be. Was it a halfback pass or was it a flea flick? I forget what it was.
It was a receiver pass, I think.
A receiver pass? Yeah, he was where he was supposed to be. They thought they was going to – I think it was I don't know if it was a quarterback or if it was the running back sneaking out the backfield, but or a late tight end. But he was where he was supposed to be, covering his guy, being responsible, man.
All right. Kayvon Merriweather is our final pick. Good work, gents. Very good work. We were busy, as you can see, scrolling below. What we did in free agency for the Texans leading into the 7-round mock draft, and I think to your point, I mean this roster, we've stuffed it. We've stuffed it with talent. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not sure exactly how many wins will come out of it in 2023, but this team will be competitive, whereas they weren't necessarily competitive a season ago. Bryce Young, Jordan Addison, Darnell Washington with our first 3 selections. There was a conversation regarding Addison. JSN ultimately went with Addison, considering that we know what he can do outside the numbers. We believe JSN can get it done outside the numbers, but a slight edge to Addison. I was leaning Dalton Kincaid. It still pains me, but the majority ruled, and certainly when you talk about Darnell Washington, what he offers in line and the upside in the passing game, it is very intriguing. Tuli Pelotu, if you're not familiar with him, we suggest you just turn on the tape. The guy is a difference maker up front. Played his college ball at USC. Was one of the few
49.
bright spots. One of those few bright spots on that Trojans defense. Adetomowa Adebaware, he is a favorite of ours here at Couch Potato General Manager. I think quintessential 3 technique. You start talking about Kalijah Cansey, Adebaware, Carl Brooks, and you know that's kind of where the list ends. You know what I'm saying? As far as the upper echelon 3 techniques in this draft class.
Kobe Turner. Don't forget Kobe Turner.
Kobe Turner, excuse me. I did forget Kobe Turner. I apologize. Sidney Brown, love the safety. Again, there was a question whether or not we go Sidney Brown at 73, you know, but we like the depth at the position in the 3rd round, day 2 in particular. He was actually available to us in the 4th round. So Sidney Brown is the pick there, followed by Nick Herbig. Drew pounded the table. He wanted Herbig listed as an off-the-ball linebacker, but he is a pass rusher. He's going to play edge for us. We followed that up with a true off-the-ball linebacker with pass rushing chops who can also hold up really well in the passing game. Christian Harris, selected a season ago. Certainly not giving up on the young man, but we bring in Ivan Pace Jr. and they're going to battle it out for who's going to be playing in that nickel set, that 2 linebacker set with Tremaine Edmonds. Keaton Mitchell to pair with Damian Pierce. Really like what Pierce offers from the perspective of you know, early down work. He certainly can pass protect, catch the ball in the backfield, but Mitchell is just very dynamic in space. So we like that combination. Then you have Headley banging on the table for Jackson Kirkland. He gives us a swing tackle and guard. And he could eventually be our starter at right tackle in the long run, considering what happens with Titus Howard. Daryl Luter, I thought was pretty impressive at the Senior Bowl. That was really my first exposure to him. Watching the tape, he certainly has a quality skill set. Again, at this point in the draft, great value. Davis Allen, Drew's guy, right? We got the Darnell Washington light, the light version of, and then we're not talking about pigmentation. We're talking about what they can do as inline or inline blockers, and really it really provides a lot of flexibility as far as the offense in terms of formations and personnel grouping. So Davis Allen, and then the last pick was Kayvon Merriweather. So several Senior Bowl alums here. Merriweather, part of an always well coached Iowa team, not necessarily a great Iowa team, but certainly well coached. He's where he's supposed to be, and he's going to make for a solid pro. Certainly going to be able to help out in special teams and your sub packages. So I really like what we've done here with Houston. I like what we do with most drafts, but this was a lot of work to really try to make this team as competitive as we possibly can as early as the 2023 season, and they are a much better roster. This roster is much more talented than it was a season ago. So excellent work, gentlemen. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Second Half Draft Show. Guys, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you know when we always are going live. Typically, we're Fridays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We're also up to the draft, through the draft, going to be going live every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little bit earlier, but we'll be sure to let everybody know via the community channel and all the socials. So for Headley, Drew, this is Juice, signing off, and we'll see you in a few.